March 11th regular board meeting is in session. Let's see. The agenda, do we have any additions?
Yes, sir. We have two additional items to add to the agenda. The first one is early graduation request. And the second one is the approval of the Anderson County High School girls basketball to attend the state tournament, spending the night in Lexington, March 13th through 16th. If we could please add that to the end of the agenda, right before the executive session, please, sir.
Okay. Can I get a motion to adopt the agenda?
Motion to adopt the agenda, Scott Brown.
Second, Steve Carmichael.
With first and second, can I get a roll call vote, please?
Yes, sir. Jason Collins.
Yes.
Scott Brown.
Yes.
Steve Carmichael.
Yes.
Tim Sargent. Peggy Peach.
Yes.
Attendance report. Please show that all board members are present. Approval of minutes. Recommend the approval of the February 12th, 2024 regular school board meeting minutes.
I make a motion to approve Peggy Peach.
Second, Steve Carmichael.
With first and second, can I get a roll call vote, please?
Yes, sir. Jason Collins.
Yes.
Scott Brown.
Yes.
Steve Carmichael.
Yes.
James Sargent. Peggy Peach.
Yes.
Financial report.
Good evening. For our financial report this evening, you'll see a 0.7% decrease in revenues from February of 23 to February of 24. That is due to an increase in the tax receipts of about $750,000 or 4.1%. But you combine that with our lower beginning balance, and so we do see a 0.7% decrease overall. We do continue to see increased revenues from motor vehicle and utility taxes, as well as income from our interest on our investments. Motor vehicle revenue has increased approximately $28,000 from the prior year, while utility tax revenues are up approximately $72,000 from the prior year. Through our money market account, our investment has increased $217,000 on interest year over year. Additionally, this month we saw an increase of approximately $678,000 in our property tax revenue from the prior year. With the SEEK revenue, we do continue to see a reduction of approximately 3%. For this year, it's about $263,000. On the expenditure side, our salary and benefits costs show an increase of 4.3%. That is reasonable based on the step and 3% raise that was approved in April. Our non-salary expenditures increased 15.6% from the prior year. As I've noted previously, we do continue to see increased costs for operational supplies and a substantial increase in our property insurance. On a different note, on March the 1st, we got the final SEEK amounts for fiscal year 24. Our final SEEK allocation shows us gaining funds in the guaranteed base amount of approximately $68,000. That's from an increase in enrollment. The state tier 1 gained us about $20,000 and a 4% adjusted assessment in the amount of $109,000. There were a couple of decreases as well. One of those was in the transportation funding. That was of $121,000. But overall, we are looking to receive approximately $75,000 more than we had anticipated this year. So that was a positive from the SEEK numbers. Any questions for me this evening? Thank you very much.
Motion to approve financial report, Scott Brown.
Can I get a second, please?
Second, Steve Carmichael.
With first and second, can I get a roll call vote, please?
Yes, Jason Collins.
Yes.
Scott Brown.
Yes.
Steve Carmichael. James Sargent. Peggy Peach.
Yes.
Orders of the treasurer.
Any questions regarding the orders?
If no questions, can I get a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve Peggy Peach.
Second, Scott Brown.
With first and second, can I get a roll call vote, please?
Yes, sir. Jason Collins.
Yes.
Scott Brown.
Yes.
Steve Carmichael.
Yes.
James Sargent. Peggy Peach.
Yes.
Superintendent's report.
Thank you. I'd like to welcome everyone to our March 11th board meeting. We appreciate everyone being here and your support, and also like to welcome everyone online. First, we have our athletics recognition. I'd like to congratulate the Anderson County High School Lady Bearcats on winning the district and the region. We're very, very proud of our ladies. They will be participating in the Kentucky High School Athletic Association state tournament that begins on Wednesday. So if you are able to, please come out and cheer on our Lady Bearcats Wednesday night at 6 p.m. We'd love to have you there. And if you happen to see these ladies out in public, please make sure you let them know how very proud we are of them and how much we appreciate their focus on just achieving at high levels. They will continue to make us proud on the court. So please make sure if you see them to say congratulations and how proud we are of them. Also, I'd like to say congratulations to our Region 8 Coach of the Year, Mr. Clay Birdwitzel. As you all know, he is an amazing coach. He continues to strive for excellence and continue that tradition of excellence in our girls basketball program. So let's give them a round of applause, can we please? Next is the staff recognition, and it's very near and dear to my heart, the Larry Basham Award. Many of you knew Mr. Basham. To know him was to love him. Hearing his name just brings a smile to my face like it does a lot of you all. He loved to make everyone laugh. He was always smiling, telling or playing a joke on folks. He included everyone and made all of us feel a part of the Anderson County team and family. He was a dear friend, but he was also an amazing boss. He was a mentor and someone who I personally look to for answers. He was a true leader, and he led with a servant's heart. He loved Anderson County. He loved Anderson County schools, students, and staff, and he absolutely loved Lawrenceburg. He was always advocating for Anderson County. He was an amazing person who made a difference and continues to make a difference in the lives of so many. Larry loved people, and people loved Larry. Tonight it is with great honor that I introduce Mr. Larry Basham's beloved daughter, Miss Emily Basham Thacker, who will announce the recipient of the 2024 Larry Basham Award. Please let's give her a round of applause, and for Miss Barbara Basham and family as well. Come on up, Miss Barbara. Megan too. Yeah, all of you. She's like, no.
As Ms. Mitchell said, most of you here tonight knew my dad, Larry Basham. He was in education for 35 years. 31 of those were here in Anderson County. He loved it. He loved kids. He loved everybody that worked here. We wanted to create an annual award to be given in his memory. We got a team of people together, a committee, and we brainstormed what qualities we thought that would represent Dad best. It was pretty easy to come up with this list. Some of the things were exudes positivity, builds relationships, goes above and beyond the call of duty daily, fosters a strong connection between school and community, and is of strong moral character. We asked administrators and leaders in the county to nominate some people. I'm going to read some of the nominees tonight, just because I think they need to be recognized. Gina Slusher, Krista Sawyer, Amanda Kartnauer, Shanna Turner, Travis Harley, Terry Drury, Blake Drury, Hayden Bright, Logan Young, Caitlin Pinkston, and Ricky Spalding. Everybody that was nominated, they are great people and show all of these things that we were looking for. But we had to pick one. So the committee got together and we felt that this one person fit perfectly. He actually had more than one person nominating. Before I say his name, I'm going to read some things that people wrote about him. There's not one person in our building that exudes positivity more than this person. He is always smiling, welcoming staff and students, and helping in any way possible. He is a bright spot among our staff and our community. He works hard and never complains. He shows up every day at ACHS, and ACHS is a better place because he serves us so well. He also works with students outside of the school building in the disc golf community, which he pioneered here in Lawrenceburg. So without further ado, I would like to present the 2024 Larry Basham Memorial Award to Mr. Ricky Spalding.
Glenn Drury. Glenn Drury, one of Larry's best friends, and we all know all Glenn's history. And Blake, and well, of course Sheila. Thank you, Bobby Murphy. Did I leave somebody out? Is that all of us? But thank you. Very, very pleased. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is comments from visitors. We only have one, Mr. Marty Terry.
Hello, my name is Marty Terry, M-A-R-T-Y-T-E-R-R-Y, and I'm just asking you all to do the superintendent evaluations. It's very important. Was involved the county fire department. There's never been evaluations of the chief, as far as I know, and people, power corrupts, absolute power corrupts, absolutely. People do need to respectfully know where they're doing well and where they're not doing well. And you all are that guidance. I have no authority over the superintendent, but you all do. So please, represent us, the taxpayers, the ones that pay the utility taxes, the ones that pay the property taxes, and all these other taxes that y'all were discussing earlier. Taxes are killing us. So please do that evaluation. And what is the student performance level right now? How are we doing as far as how is she doing? I know there's a lot of factors. I know it's an interesting world. And the 1987 class that I graduated from, Ronnie over here, it's a different world as far as the students, and it's a different world as far as the parents. But with the situation that we're in, the situation dictates the tactics. Is she doing a good job? And I'm sure she's probably doing a good job in some areas and some not. There's a lot of distractions going on in the community, from the Briscoe case to a story I heard about someone being sodomized at the high school with a broomstick. Won't get into details. But when I heard that, I thought that could very well be the case, and we the people would not know about it. So, and would you hire again based on what you all know now? And maybe you would, or you'd hire again with a caveat. A large percentage of the kids in this county, the students, where we're safe, prepared, and responsible, probably cannot spell GED. And a good percentage of those could not write it in cursive. So are we getting what we're paying for as far as a superintendent? Because we the people are taxed to death. Okay? We could discuss this maybe after school one day at McDonald's, but it's closed because the savages are running the place. Same thing I've heard at DQ, and I've seen it firsthand at the library. Back in the day of Larry Basham, they would have followed us over there and whipped us or wore us out or put the fear of God in us. So the kids are running things now. It's really embarrassing. So I just ask yourself, would you hire her again? And don't say, if you're not satisfied, don't say you can't do anything about it, because you could ask the Nelson County Superintendent about that. People can be removed from office. Okay? I want this school system to do well. I'm paying for it. Y'all are paying for it too. I think the return on our investment as far as the superintendent is abysmal at best, from my perspective as an outsider. So if she's doing well, grade her very well. If she's doing terrible, then drop ship her to Cambodia or something. Okay? And just because there's not a bunch of people here does not mean that people are not ticked. People are kind of hopeless because they feel like their voices aren't being heard. Appreciate y'all very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Terry. Next up, we have construction payments. Consideration to approve the following payments as outlined in payment summary number 5 for Anderson County Middle School and Saffel Elementary project BG 23-130. There's quite a few down through there. I'll let you all read those. But I will give the total payment request is for $485,461.53. Do we have any questions on it yet?
Motion to approve, Scott Brown.
Second, Peggy Peach.
With the first and second, can I get a roll call vote, please?
Sir Jason Collins.
Yes.
Scott Brown.
Yes.
Steve Carmichael.
Yes.
James Sargent. Peggy Peach.
Yes.
Payment to Ross Torrent Architects. Consideration to approve the following payments to Ross Torrent Architects for February 2024. Services performed on the following project: Saffel structural repairs, KFICS and DFP services, Anderson County Middle School and Saffel Street Elementary HVAC, Saffel Street emergency bracing, for a total of $21,675.77.
I make a motion to approve Peggy Peach.
Second, Steve Carmichael.
With the first and second, can I get a roll call vote, please?
Yes, sir Jason Collins.
Yes.
Scott Brown.
Yes.
Steve Carmichael.
Yes.
James Sargent. Peggy Peach.
Yes.
Construction drawings, approval for, oh, I'm sorry, skipped right over. Construction update. Thank you.
Good evening. So I tried to give you some kind of animation here. That way everybody's not just sitting there trying to make up stuff in their head that we are getting completed. The two that are in kind of that pale orange color, those are the two pods that have been completed previously, and we are now in that blue area, which is C1. We are working through it. Ceilings in the designated classrooms have been demoed. The mechanical units in the mezzanine have been demoed, and they are installing the new mechanical units, getting those tied back in, and starting to make connections on those. Started on that today, and once that area has been completed, we will be handing all those classrooms back over to the principal to allow them to have testing, and graciously, she has allowed us to be able to work in the mezzanine of the gym, which is that green area. So we will be moving to the gym mezzanine afterwards. We'll be able to lock that gym up and make sure that kids are staying out of there and work on replacing the mechanical units up there. which will just really, I mean, in all honesty, it's going to be great because it'll really help us get a little bit further, even further above or ahead of schedule as it is now. And then,
For the stage area, are y'all actually blocking it off, or are you just blocking off like the steps type of,
so
or type of ways?
for the stage area, we are going to have to, we're going to be tearing out a section of the wall off to the side of the stage to put in a door in that area to remove those units and bring the new units in. The geothermal is continuing. As of today, at about 10, they had 6 holes left. They're expected to be done by Wednesday with the drilling proper. Once that is complete, they'll be running all their loops and cleaning up that field area. And then that's just the ceilings that have been demoed. There's your temporary barricade wall blocking off classrooms. And the new units have been brought up in the mezzanine of C1. As far as construction at Saffel, nothing really has progressed any further over there. They've run the cabling that they could run for now, and then we'll hit that in the summertime and finish all that up. Outside of that, I don't have anything else to update as far as the construction goes. I know last month we had mentioned the lighting and that you had requested to bring that back up. So as of the pricing that was previously submitted is the same. Total lights, there's 404 lights in all that would be replaced. And again, these are only the lights that are in ceiling areas that we are already removing. With the exception of those 3 classroom pods, we would be going back into those 3 classrooms that we had previously removed the ceilings in and replacing the lighting in those. But everything else would be things that are coming out already. The total cost of that was $130,431.85. The price per fixture roughly is $324 installed, including the removal of the old fixtures.
If they're going with the LED, could they go back with like a third less lighting? Being that much brighter or not?
That would be a question I'd have to defer to CMTA as far as the fixtures itself. They inspect the fixtures for us to, not for us, for the contractors to price. The electrical contractor got a price on those fixtures. I can reach out to Scott and ask him about that. We did discuss with CMTA. They had reached out to LHI, which is the lighting, the lighting fixture manufacturer. They provided some rough figures as far as cost savings. The cost savings that we're looking at, they got it to a little bit late today. I would have liked to have seen some stuff revised on that just to clarify some information. But a rough estimation based off the information that they had provided in a year, spread over the 404 fixtures, you're looking at roughly a little over $11,000 in savings. At $130,000 installation cost, you're looking at just past 11-year mark. It's almost 12, 11 and 3/4 year to wash out for those fixtures. What's that?
If they can drop, say there's 30 lights in a room, if they can do the same lighting with 20 lights, it'll save us that much more.
It would say, yeah, their
LEDs are
LEDs
brighter than
much more efficient.
fluorescent, so.
The only, and I, by no means am I trying to put anybody in a bind or anybody in a rush at all. The only caveat to any of that would be is that if you all would like to proceed with that, the sooner we know, the better. The contractor we discussed this at our monthly management meeting today. As far as ordering those fixtures and having them here in time to allow them to be installed through the summer, they would need to know something within the next 2 weeks, probably, I would say.
I think it's worth checking into, just to see.
Okay. And absolutely, and I can reach back out to CMTA and see if they can potentially look at reducing the number of fixtures. That's not a problem. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we can go to construction drawing approval. Consideration to approve construction drawings for Saville Street Elementary School cafeteria structural repair project.
So a lot of what I have for you today is very similar to what I showed you for the design development drawings in content. But we have developed that further and added details that are necessary for construction, as well as electrical and more development on the structural. And then we have one other item to discuss tonight, which is an additional part of this. So for construction drawings, we have the drawings. So the construction documents, we have drawings, a set of drawings that illustrate everything that is to be done, and we have a set of specifications cover both contractual work as well as material needs of materials and the quality of the materials given. So I'm just going to briefly go through the drawings. We have a demolition plan showing what walls will be demolished and what portion of the flooring will be taken out to be improved. We have new work, which we talked about last time. There's a few more details to that. But this shows the dimensioning of the windows. We will be taking the existing windows and reusing those in a similar location in the wall. So that is a big savings that we'll be able to use. And then the details of the wall sections, showing in section what items are to be demolished and what items are to remain. The overall building sections to help orient people and the elevations. We have a sheet for all of the interior finishes that will be replaced. The entire VCT floor in the dining area will be taken up and replaced with new. On the walls, we have, you can see the pattern on the walls. We have a protective vinyl wall surface that will be kind of the chair rail down to protect those areas because cafeteria is very highly used. So that'll be very helpful for that area. And then items to be painted and flooring to be repaired in some of the other areas. And then this is a 3D, I think I brought this last time, but basically an exterior view, again, just to show you that we are taking the brick off and replacing that with a metal panel. Our specifications are always written in a way that they can be competitively bid by different vendors. And so that then leads us to the necessity of not choosing an exact color on things like metal panel until we get the submittals in. What we ask for is that we are able to choose from their full range of standard colors. So I'm sure that we will be able to land on the proper color once we get those submittals. And then the structural drawings, which we talked about a bit last time, but basically those, the columns and the beams that go across, we're going to be adding diagonal bracing in a couple of areas to stiffen that whole structural building. And these are some of the other structural drawings with more notations. And the section, which also shows at the floor the slab that will be replaced and how that interacts differently with the foundation wall from what was existing. Again, all of those things are tied together more closely, and the whole building will be stiffened by that. There is some electrical receptacles and some exterior lights that are existing. Those will be removed when we remove the walls. We will put in new receptacles. There is existing some conduit for phone and data that is in surface mounted conduit that will be placed in the wall. And the exterior lights will be reused in a similar location. So, the one item that is new that we wanted to talk about is an alternate. What we've looked at is including this as an alternate in the package. Everything that I've talked about so far is part of the base bid. This will be presented as an alternate, and what that means is on bid day, you will get a separate price for this item, which is to add an exterior door and the corresponding need for a stoop, a ramp, and stairs, and a sidewalk that connects these things to the playground area. So,
For the taxpayers, I think it's too much. And I do see a need for electric lighting, $100 and some thousand. That's very valuable for that. But as far as the door, $70,000, so I don't know if I'm deciding if I'm going to oppose your plans because you have that on the plan or vote.
so
And
yes, to speak. Yes, I understand.
I also have a comment on that, actually.
Yes.
And I also have a comment on that, actually.
With that being one of the largest gathering areas of students, of course, I'm coming from a public safety standpoint, having a second way of egress for those students, because right now, if there was anything happened right there at that main doorway where they come in, it would be very hard for first responders to be able to help save whatever's going on, and especially it being ADA compliant. To me, that's, I put life over. I'm not saying $70,000 is not a lot. I'm not.
Right.
But I'm saying that even looking at I know it's much higher ground-wise going out towards the parking lot, that type of stuff. So that would increase the price of all that. I mean, it being, what about a 4-foot elevation somewhere in that area? I understand that. From a public standpoint, a public safety standpoint, I think there should have already been a set of doors there. So.
Don't we have a state fire marshal that inspects things?
So this, it's been approved from the standpoint of the total number of people in that area. There is enough width of doorway to allow all of them to exit in a timely manner. The issue, I feel, and correct me if I'm interpreting this wrong, is that those egress doors are on one side of this, the cafeteria and the kitchen. And there is a door out the back of the kitchen, but that is considered an egress door, but it is not as accessible when you have a group of children in the dining room. So there is an adequate width of door that allows the proper number of people to come through in a timely manner to escape something like a fire. I think what is at issue here is that it's all in one direction, and that this door would provide an alternate quick way out if there was an event other than a fire.
So if we did put the door, it's gonna pass inspection.
Yes. It's always, it has, yes, because they don't, correct. They do not consider items, the state fire marshal is not the same. They don't consider how to get people out in the event of a violent event. So.
I was just wondering because I had to call the state fire marshal's office, just, to make sure in my mind that it's safe. Because
It's safe to egress in the event of a fire.
Assuming those are available.
Yes.
And if I could just add to that, first of all,
Yes.
I agree with what everybody said. $70,000 is a significant price tag. Safety is our number one responsibility. The thing I would simply add to that is that the request we got was from the principal and the staff in making this accessible to young people to exit the cafeteria. And as an old, retired school administrator, I never made a lot of requests, but when I made one, I thought it was sufficient. And I would like to encourage us as a board to support that, because I don't think we get a lot of requests, specific requests from staff members, principals, whatever, but I think in this particular case, they feel this would be beneficial, not just from the standpoint of safety, but access to the outside of the building when they leave the cafeteria. So I would like to encourage us as a board to support the request. Thank you.
So also to speak to the set of documents that I have in front of you for consideration, having this item as an alternate allows this to be bid as a separate price on bid day, and you have the option to accept or to not accept this alternate with or without the base bid. It can be a separate thing. You can accept just the base bid, you can accept the base bid plus this alternate. And to have the real time cost of this at bid day, that is exactly what you would pay for it. So it's not just an opinion of cost, it's the real cost of what you would be able to get it for. So it's not locking you in to build it. It is giving you the opportunity to have the real-time cost on bid day and to either decide when you review the bids after bid day to accept the base bid or to accept or you can not accept the base bid. That's always an option. But then you can add the alternate to the base bid or not.
So it could either, so what, I just want to make sure I understand you correctly, because, it can either come back lower than 70,000, or it could even be higher than 70,000.
Yes, it could.
Correct?
That is correct.
So me sitting here tonight, and if I vote approval, that still doesn't lock me in to say that I'm voting for that door.
That is correct.
Okay.
You are simply saying, I am willing to get a real-time cost from contractors for this work.
Okay, because I don't want to be locked in, and next thing you know, you come in here and the bid, it seems like the bids are always they always come back higher than what, that's just the way it seems to be right now with the inflation. So, if you come back with your bid and say it's 110,000, then I'm like, that's where at rest, what's my mind? at
Right.
rest.
Well, this is a really wonderful way to package an item like this because it's very easy to add, it's very easy to take away, and it can be bid as a separate little package inside as an alternate.
We just got to start tightening our belts here, because expect our people in this community to tax, you know, 'cause, and I live in a very conservative district, and I have to listen about it all the time, so I'm representing their interests, not my interests, their interests. So that's why I'm very conservative, you know. Thank you. You've answered a lot of questions.
Everybody else has put their 2 cents in.
I have a
I don't know
question.
if there's posts out there to keep cars from getting in there, but the flow of traffic, if somebody had a seizure or passed out, hit the gas, if they could drive through where you see the letter D, there would be no egress to get out of there. So, I don't know why I didn't have one to start out with, but you can't funnel the kids through the kitchen to that little bitty dinky door in the back to get them out safely if that is blocked by some catastrophic event. So hopefully it comes in cheap enough that we can afford to do it, and it would be a lot of safety for our kids. I think it's important to try to look at it anyway. So.
I think this will give you a lot of flexibility in that way to package it this way. We'll just go through a couple more slides just to.
I've got a question on this.
Yes.
Before you take it off.
Sure.
The,
I've got several more to explain
Okay.
what all this involves.
I spend a lot of time at this school, and I'm trying to figure out Area D. Is that like a little vestibule
Yes.
right off? Okay.
Yes.
I think that's where, like, when students had grandparents to come, they got to eat at a table in a special area right there. Isn't there doors behind there?
There are, if you can see off of Area D, if you look up and to the right, there's a double set of doors, and if you look from D down and to the right, there's another set of doors. So yes, there are 2 set of double doors that exit out of that vestibule.
And that goes out into the parking lot.
The parking
Where
lot.
the morning, they let kids out, I think there. So there are doors.
Oh, there are doors, and there are enough doors for emergency egress.
Yeah.
It's just the concern has been stated that they are only on one side of this part of the building. It's not balanced to where you can exit out of the, like if you look at diagonal beyond.
Okay, they're wanting an exit out to the playground. That's,
There is no exit out to the playground.
yeah. Well, my thought is, the more doors you have, if they're not necessary, the more doors you gotta watch. I mean, as far as the SRO is concerned, because if it's not necessary for safety as far as fire marshal, it's gonna add more doors to have to watch.
And some of that can be handled in the type of hardware that is put on the door. This door that is proposed for this alternate has been asked that this hardware be a key out and a key in. So it's not a pump. Well, it is not an egress door because it is not, so there are different types of doors. When you call a door an egress door, what that is it has to be opened in the direction that you want to go with a very little force, and that it is always operable from the inside going out, and that is what is required by code for fire or emergency egress, if you have to get out of the building for fire. And that's when you calculate the number of people that are in that space, and the number of people, you get a certain percentage of inches that is required, and then you add all of that up, and that's the width of the doors that have to be in that space for egress. So there are enough egress doors for this space according to code. But they're suggesting other uses for this other door. Yes.
I don't like that at all.
But if that, I mean, that can be changed also if that's, you know.
All that, getting back, you know, that's, with the key in and out, that's creating, that's not helping safety
No, they don't.
situation, because what, if, you know, kids don't have keys and it's a panic, so, I've done it.
Yeah.
Well,
I'd like to see it bid both ways, you know, bid with,
As a
with a
panic.
key and with a panic bar, because,
That can
you
be-
know where I'm coming from.
yes.
So,
Yes. So I'll just cover kind of the details of what this alternate would include. So we have, if you'll see, I've added a little highlight. That is the door. It's a single door. We have a ramp and a stair. And then we have, and then this is from an elevation of what that would be from that side. The ramp and the stair obviously have handrails for that area. And then the sidewalk leads to the playground area. So this drawing actually has the ramp and the stairs. This is the site drawing. They orient their drawings different than the architectural. I apologize, it makes it confusing. But this is just sort of the details of what is demolished, which is really nothing in this case. There's a downspout that has to be moved. And then the grading for that. And then there are details associated with the handrails and the ramp handrails. So that's the alternate. And then the BG3, which is part of approval of the construction documents, is the cost that we have to date. The BG3 does not include the cost of the alternate. The BG3 is the base bid. It has not changed from the BG1 that was approved last month. So that is just that's a separate item on your agenda. And then the schedule moving forward tonight is the submittal of construction documents and for the approval to bid and to advertise to bid. I have slightly changed the going out to printer and the bid date by 2 days. March 14th, this Thursday, would be, if you approve tonight, that we would put it out to bid. April 4th would be the bid opening. And at April 8th meeting would be your review of the received bids and a possible award of contract. And then that would allow, by mid-April, the ability for construction to begin. Any questions?
Motion to approve. Scott Brown.
Second, Steve Carmichael.
with the first and second, can I get a roll call vote, please?
Jason Collins,
Yes.
Scott Brown,
Yes.
Steve Carmichael,
Yes.
James Sargent,
Yes, under the conditions of what she said. It's just for the S.
Yes.
thank you, sir. Ms. Peach?
Yes.
Thank you.
Approval of BG3 for Seville Street Cafeteria Structural Project, or structural repair project, BG 24-295. Consideration to approve BG3 for the Seville Cafeteria repair, RTA 23058 and BG 24-295 for the board's consideration to approve to go to bid.
Motion approved. Scott Brown.
Second, Steve Carmichael.
Go ahead.
With the first and second, can I get a roll call vote, please?
Yes, sir. Jason Collins,
Yes.
Scott Brown,
Yes.
Steve Carmichael,
Yes.
James Sargent, Peggy Peach.
Yes.
School calendar, first reading.
Good evening, and thank you for taking a look. Hopefully you guys have had a few minutes to take a look at the school calendar. This is for the 25-26 school year. As we last discussed, with regards to the calendar committee, the committee convenes and looks over a structure for how to build forward a school calendar that's already correct and ready to go for next school year. This calendar that we're building is actually for 2 school years out. So what you've got in front of you, not for next school year, but the following school year. The structure for which this calendar was created is the same structure that we've used for probably upwards of 10 years now at this point in time, and it's been modified slightly as we've adjusted through years. Some of the structure pieces that are still current are we try to begin our school year after the 127 yard sales to allow folks to have a local appetite for that, but also for safety purposes as far as transporting students on the first few days of school. Looking to begin our school year on a Thursday, 1 week fall break, 1 week spring break, and then a few other modifications and adjustments over the last few years have been added into that, and we'll talk through some of that right now as far as this calendar goes. What you find is on the back, you have a calendar input survey. Calendar committee created 3 questions that were geared around input and data that had been brought to the conversation for building a calendar. And that was with regards to adding Good Friday in to our school calendar in connection with spring break. That was one of our questions. Another question was starting the school year later rather than having a fall break or a shortened fall break. And the final question that we asked for input on was with regards to having a full week of Thanksgiving break and extending the school year. What the data came back from our survey indicated that our families, 543 responses we got, overwhelmingly, folks did want to continue to have Good Friday be a part of our spring break. That was added into this calendar. The next question, you'll note there that out of 540 responses, 72% of folks did not want to have a later start in exchange for no fall break. And then on that final question, with regards to having a full week of break at Thanksgiving in exchange for having an extended school year, the data was not supportive in one direction or another to change or make any additional changes. So the calendar committee chose not to do that. The calendar that you've got in front of you for first reading meets the state's requirements of 170 school day minimum. It also meets the 1,062 hour school day or school hour requirement, and is acceptable in the eyes of the calendar committee and those that they represent. And they've presented that to you this evening for a first reading and approval. If you have recommendations to make to that calendar, I'm happy to take those back before you would read it for a second time and make it an official calendar. Can I answer any questions about the calendar that you have there? It's March 31st is when it begins. It's the Friday, Good Friday, and then it goes through that following week, sir. First week of April. No, I'm the same, so I have to refer back. We'll get calls in, I have to refer back to the calendar so that I don't get that incorrect. The way our calendar committee works, as the cycles of the sun change the calendar, we have to ebb and flow with that. So this year that's on the calendar in front of you actually will go back to a Good Friday year. Next year is not that, so it's a little strange. So in the state of Kentucky, we're required to have a 185-day school term. Our school district provides a 186-day school term, which is the same as Franklin County Public Schools. We may choose to do our days a little bit different, but at the end of the year, it's 186 days.
Makes it easier to get reservations at the beach if everybody doesn't have the same week.
I just say that Travis does a great job facilitating the calendar committee. All of us get an opportunity to have input. He's great about putting together the survey and asking staff what their feelings are, and he's great on the numbers to make sure we have the correct number of days in school. I appreciate Travis's efforts.
There is one piece of information I will add in. The week that we created this first draft, if you will, I had gotten an email from Kentucky Department of Education stating that they would no longer recognize half-days in calendars as a full school day. 2 days later, they retracted that, and the information that I gave you is no longer valid. So they retracted that, and they've kind of walked that back to a later date. So the half-days that are in our school day or in our calendars for next year, and also this calendar in front of you, currently are safe. They will count as a full day with regards to a calendar day, and then the hours will go toward our 1,062 hour minimum. So we're good on that.
So are you saying that, maybe moving forward, if there's a snow coming or whatever, if you make it till after lunch?
Yeah, so there's still some exception in there for that.
Okay.
The information that we got from the group of DPPs that I work with on that, it sounded like maybe they were exploiting the half-day opportunities a little bit, and they were counting those toward that 170-day minimum, and not necessarily maybe putting in enough time is what it sounded like. So what they're asking is when they do validate that moving forward, it would be a 5-hour day. So you could do an early release day for count a full day, but you would have to complete 5 hours. Typically, folks don't do that. If you're gonna go 5, you might as well just go the whole day.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Second, Steve Carmichael.
With the first and second, can I get a roll call vote, please?
Yes, sir. Jason Collins.
Yes.
Scott Brown.
Yes.
Steve Carmichael.
Yes.
James Sargent. Peggy Peach.
Yes, and thank you, Steve, for your part on fixing this calendar.
Yeah, I like how it was conversation starter. Up next, summer food service program approval. Mr. Fields.
Yeah, so for this upcoming summer, what we're requesting is to participate in the summer food service program. What you have on the screen in front of you and in your packet is basically what we ended up last year with 3 different options. One at Saffel Street, one using the red summer food service bus for congregate meals and non-congregate multi-day meals handed out with the white summer food service truck. And we did add another route using a school bus last year. So we'd like to see if we can at least do that, but we'd like to expand even more. And I'd like to work with Mr. Harley on using the data, the free reduced lunch data, to determine if there's some other areas where instead of maybe the Anderson County Middle School parking lot, maybe it might be better to move to that stop to another area, just to look at different possibilities. They have come up with a new final non-congregate ruling, and I'm going to learn more about that. I think all of ours are still fine, but it seems like we get a lot of these newly revised final kinds of things, and I'll know more after the training. But we'd like to do summer food service. Our goal would be to at least do what we did last year, which was an expanded option, and then maybe see if we have staffing, if we could extend it more.
I just want to say that I think it's a wonderful program. I've heard from quite a few students and that have taken advantage of it, and they are very appreciative. So that's what it's about. So.
And I think the non-congregate is having both options is really important, especially for the non-congregate. If you're struggling paying bills and you're food insecure, knowing that you can come and get 3 days of worth of meals for that amount of driving and gasoline or 2 days is better than just one single meal. So I like having the multiple types of options for parents.
Any more questions?
Motion approved, Scott Brown.
Second, Peggy Beach.
With first and second, can I get a roll call vote, please?
Yes, sir. Jason Collins.
Yes.
Scott Brown.
Yes.
Steve Carmichael.
Yes.
James Sargent. Peggy Peach.
Yes.
CACFP program approval, Ronnie Fields.
All right, so if you all remember way back in February of 2020, we had put on, and the board had approved for us to start CACFP, the dinner program at Saffel Street as a pilot. And then in March, of course, everything ended. And so that got put on hold. We did request for CACFP as an option for the 21-22 school year before they decided that we could use summer food service to feed the kids. We were looking for an option where we could feed all kids at free. And so once they agreed to summer food, we chose not to use the CACFP program, but to use the summer food program. So it's one of those things that we have promised, and we need to fulfill our promises. And so, during the COVID years, that didn't really pan out for us to be able to do it. Last year, we still had a lot of supply chain issues and staffing issues. I think those have stabilized, and I think next year we should be able to start this. And since we're behind, I'd like to go ahead and start at full force. So what we're proposing is adding the CACFP program, which is another big program. Ms. Rogers ran a part-time one at Mercer County. It's like having a whole another national school lunch program. So we'd like to do it for all the schools that we can and every day. So it's going to be it's a lofty goal. It's a big push, but it's something that I think will be very beneficial for our families, especially since you consider the food cost and the amount of inflation in groceries and things like this, to give our families another option for another meal before the kids go home. So it was originally planned in. As part of the CACFP, though, they do have to eat the meals on campus. This is not something, they can take one item home, a fruit or a vegetable, but primarily they have to eat this on campus. So it allows us to serve supper to children after school when the school has a planned enrichment activity. So we have to work with the schools to make sure that they have planned enrichment activities. It is the National School Lunch Program and the School Breakfast Program. It is supervised about once every 5 years closely. This thing, since it goes out to daycares all across the nation and all other kind of programs that are not schools, this is monitored all the time. So there's a lot of rules, regulations, a lot of red tape, and rightly so. It's geared for a lot of different types of scenarios. So there is no requirement that the children receiving the meals participate in the scheduled activities, but we do need to make sure all of our activities are in order for our children to be able to participate. As students who are a part of sports programs, band, they can participate, but there has to be some kind of overreaching educational or enrichment program that they would be free to attend. So you couldn't have coaches saying, well, we're getting food and we're going to practice. They still would have to have the option for a certain amount of time or the band to be a part of an enrichment program. So that's some of the stuff that we'd have to work through. So we did a survey just with the after-school care. We would think that would be a real easy one to start off. You've got the sports programs at the middle school and high school, but that would be pretty easy. We had sent out the surveys, and we had 120 families that were absolutely interested already. So that's our base. We started trying to figure out the feasibility of budget, whether or not this thing would work. We had sports teams. Mr. Kearns worked with us. We had, as you can see, some of the sports programs, and this isn't not all responded, so we think it could be even more. But football, yes, before practice. Baseball and golf, yes, before leaving for away games and before home games. Track and field, JV, and freshman football, high school wrestling. There's other programs out there that might be interested too. So I think that we have a lot of interest in this. I know when I played sports after school, a lot of people ran and got something and came back to eat. I'm sure the band is the same way. People run, get something, and come back to eat. This might provide an option for those students to be able to get some food without having to pay for it. So the plan for implementation, there's a couple different things we would request as CACFP coordinator. Again, this is a really big program if we're going to do it on a large scale. And then we would post and select a CACFP coordinator. The position would start in August. We would really have to start working with all the schools, making sure all of the enrichment activities are in order, getting with all the sports teams, making sure we know who would want to participate, whether or not we have enrichment activities set. So we would spend some time in August to do that, and then allow a couple of weeks to start the National School Lunch and School Breakfast Program, and then start this on September 2nd. So give us a couple of weeks to get school in order, get our first two bread and butter programs running, plan on the others, and then start. As far as the budget, the reimbursement rate, it's supposed to be out at any time, but for right now it was 23, for 23-24 was $4.25 per meal. Now, hypothetically, if we had the CACFP coordinator, if that were paid at $2,500 per month, and we did some calculations based on $25 an hour plus benefits. It could be 4 hours, it could be a little bit more, it could be a little bit less. It's basically running a program. So, but if we did an average of 4, and then we have 2 one-hour cook positions that we still have open that are 4-hour positions that we could use. The break even is around 120 meals per day, and we already have that in the after-school care interest. Food cost is 37%. If you use just the CACFP coordinator and the current staff we have on site, my guess is with 120 meals, it would be about $28,000 in profit. I think that would be a push, because usually you do one for each one person per 100. So if you add the other sports teams, then you're looking at 2, and then I think we would still be at a profit. We would break even if you use 2 cooks for 4 hours and the coordinator at $2,500. We would still break even at that. So I really don't think that we would lose money with a coordinator and with the amount of interest we have. And I think we could end up making money. And the good thing about this program is it is more reimbursement per meal than the CEP. Remember, we do not get the full amount per meal because our CEP percentage is at 46.1%. And so this might be another way, like with summer food, where you build that program, that's another revenue stream that might help us in the future, Anderson County Schools secure CEP, for all students. So thinking about it as another way to potentially make money to help support that.
Do you think that we could possibly, is the coordinator, it's going to be a 4-hour, we're going to guess 4-hour a day type of thing. If we could get an individual that's already kind of a part-time person anyway.
Right.
Build that into a full kind of half and half position or something of that nature.
Absolutely. So probably I think we've got some people that are already working for the food service that are interested.
Okay.
And so, and we could have outside, I don't know who all we would have apply, but I wouldn't ask for this program if I didn't think I had a way to carry it out. So I think we've got some good options of people that are interested, more than one. So we've got people that are interested in doing it. Yes, I believe at some point, if the program really took, that's why I think the CACFP coordinator might just be, that title could even be just 1 year, and then maybe in the future make it a coordinator, manager. It could be, we don't know yet how far this program could go. Still a lot of unknowns for us, but we think it's exciting that we'd have the opportunity to give kids another opportunity for meals before they go home. But I agree with you. That's that at some point, maybe this is something that could be expanded even further.
I appreciate it. With that, I'll give a motion to approve.
Second, Scott Brown.
With the first and second, can I get a roll call vote, please?
Yes, sir. Jason Collins.
Yes.
Scott Brown.
Yes.
Steve Carmichael.
Yes.
James Sargent. Peggy Peach.
Yes.
Creation of CACFP coordination position.
I make a motion to approve Peggy Peach.
Second, Steve Carmichael.
With the first and second, can I get a roll call vote, please?
Yes, sir. Jason Collins.
Yes.
Scott Brown.
Yes.
Steve Carmichael.
Yes.
James Sargent. Peggy Peach.
Yes.
CACFP job description approval.
Motion approved, Scott Brown.
Second, Peggy Peach.
With the first and second, can I get a roll call vote, please?
Yes, sir. Jason Collins.
Yes.
Scott Brown.
Yes.
Steve Carmichael.
Yes.
James Sargent. Peggy Peach.
Yes.
I'll eventually get these letters right. CACFP coordinator pay scale.
So that would go back to the $2,500 stipend per month. And the thing about another reason why I'm talking with Ms. Mitchell about the stipend, at some point and I don't think it would fail, but you're always thinking about, well, what if this happened, what if that happened? You're not contracting for a full year, you're month by month, and it's gonna be fine, it's gonna work. But I was kind of hesitant about saying that we want to do a contract for a full year. Let's
not do a $30,000 contract, but let's do it.
Yeah, that was one of my things this whole time, is thinking how we can carry this out with as little risk as possible, knowing everything that we can know about it in the present, to predict what we're going to do in the future, to know that we're going to be okay. But that was the reason why we were requesting a $2,500 a month stipend.
So how many months are you looking at this? Maybe I missed that.
10. So now, for the first year, I guess it would be 9 because we'd start in September. Well, it would be 10 because we said we would start in August so that they could plan. But yes, 10. After we get this going, then I'd like for us to be able to get this going from day one, and maybe even earlier, when you think about summer football, band practice, that kind of thing at night. I think there's more opportunities to grow, but I think we need to get started, and then we'll find ways to expand. And I think this could really benefit the board, Anderson County Schools in the future, long after I'm gone, with another revenue stream that would be able to help support CEP. Because for me, that is one of the most important things that we do, is make sure that we have all kids have the opportunity for free breakfast and lunch. And I would love to see, make sure with summer food and this, and that we can keep having revenue streams to support that, to keep that going.
Appreciate it.
Motion approved, Scott Brown.
Second, Steve Carmichael.
With the first and second, can I get a roll call vote, please?
Yes, sir. Jason Collins.
Yes.
Scott Brown.
Yes.
Steve Carmichael.
Yes.
James Sargent. Peggy Peach.
Yes.
Could I just say thanks to Ronnie? I appreciate the fact, I think most of us take for granted 3 meals a day and snacks and whatever else we need, but there are a lot of young people, not just in Anderson County, but in our world, who could use that extra meal, whether that's breakfast, lunch, or this program. And I appreciate all that you're doing to make sure our kids get enough to eat, or make the best effort to make sure it's there if they want it. And I appreciate Marcia too, because I know she has a great input on this and a huge heart for kids and making sure they get fed. So thank you for all the kids in Anderson County who are able to eat because of what you all are doing. Thank you.
And too many people come up and ask, can I do more work?
Yeah.
Amen.
Next up is surplus items. Consideration to approve surplus items as following. Let's see. I'll let you all read through the high school and the Chapel Street both have some.
Second, Peggy Peach.
With first, second, can I have a roll call vote, please?
Yes, sir. Jason Collins?
Yes.
Scott Brown?
Yes.
Steve Carmichael?
Yes.
James Sargent? Peggy Peach?
Yes.
Shortened school day / week request. Beth Morgan Cook, Director of Special Ed, requests consideration for a shortened school day / week for a student. The request is based upon the recommendation of the individual administration and release committee, ARC, for the student based on the data from the current individual education program and physician. The ARC will continue to address the possibility of the plan for the student's return to a full day.
Any questions?
Can I answer any questions about that?
Sounds like there's a need. The doctor agrees. I make a motion to approve.
I'll second. Jason Collins. With the first and second, can I get a roll call vote, please?
Yes, sir. Jason Collins?
Yes.
Scott Brown?
Yes.
Steve Carmichael?
Yes.
James Sargent? Peggy Peach?
Yes.
Fundraiser requests. Got a few for Emma B, Saffel. These kind of look like the normal ones, so, I mean,
Make-A-Wish Foundation.
yeah.
Really neat fundraiser for Emma B. Ward. And Saffel Street, of course, with Connor Ice to get a buzzer system for their academic team, which I'm sure is needed.
With that, I'll make a motion to approve.
Thank you, sir.
Motion to approve.
Second, Peggy Peach.
With the first and second, can I get a roll call vote, please?
Jason Collins?
Yes.
Scott Brown?
Yes.
Steve Carmichael?
Yes.
James Sargent? Peggy Peach?
Yes.
Anderson County High School, CSEP report.
Okay, so they told me I couldn't tell any stories today. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about what we're doing at Anderson County High School this year, moving towards improvement, and then I want to give you some really good news. I'm sad some folks didn't stay for the end of my presentation tonight, but anyhow, hope you guys will enjoy it. So first off, I want to start by thanking all the other schools because it's a team effort. We got one high school in the district. Every school provides us with quality students as they come up the line. These educators that work out here, they're the one that sets the table for us. So, you know, we're the last stop, hopefully for kids before they go to college, the military, the workforce, you know, tech school, whatever that might be. But these guys back here do a great job, and I just want to say thank them as my fellow colleagues. So with that being said, last year we did have a good year. We did outscore the state in all scoring categories, but we're not happy with that. As you guys know, 2 years ago, we were 3/10 from receiving green status. Last year, we improved by over 4 points. We're at 4 points, and we're 1/10 from being green status. So that is our definite goal this school year. And I'm going to hopefully move here. So what does our school look like? For those of you who don't know, it's grown a little bit over time. This year, we have 1,176 students, 63 teachers, 3 counselors, school psychologists, social worker, Family Resource Youth Service Center coordinator, 4 administrators. We have a nurse on duty, and not all these are actually paid for by the district, but we have partnerships, a lot of those. 1 SRO daily, and on occasion we do have two school resource officers, because again, safety is the most important thing at the high school. So what are our improvement goals for this school year? We want to increase the percentage of students reaching proficiency in math from 44.2% to 47% for the school year. Increase the percentage of students reaching proficiency in math from 56.29 last school year to 60% this year. Increase the percentage of students reaching proficiency in science from 17.47 to 40% for this school year. Increase the percentage of students reaching proficiency in social studies from 45.36 to 50%. And increase the percentage of students reaching proficiency in combined writing from 44% to 50%. As you can see, we're tested on a lot of things. Primarily, testing runs through our sophomore and junior classes. They're each tested in different areas. The other things that we want to focus on for this school year is to increase our quality of school climate and safety from 59 to 65% for this school year. And we have a goal for our post-secondary readiness to increase the percentage of senior students that are post-secondary ready from 72.4 to 80%. I am going to tell a story because I have to tell a story about that picture, guys. I'm sorry, Gina, but here it goes. So some of the things that we're going to talk about today are engagement and some of the things that we're doing in the classroom. This was actually an event I got to see in Miss Pinkston's room a couple of weeks ago. And her animal science class is studying about equine production and the equine industry. So students have been learning about equine. I said, I do not know anything about the swine industry other than I like to eat pigs a lot. I'm sorry, that's just the way So in any case, they showed us, they had all different types of pigs, breeds of pigs. They made their own. And they did a show, put on a showing for us. And they had to show how to walk the pigs. They had to know their breeds. We got to ask them questions. We were prepped in advance, thank the Lord. Mr. King has actually showed pigs back in the day. He said he wasn't very good at it. I said, well, I needed some assistance. But it was amazing to me to see the engagement of the students. They knew their pig inside and out. They know the disposition of it. I could ask them any question, and they could tell me exactly what, anything about the pig that I wanted to know. Size, what location it was primarily bred in, what part of the country you mostly see them, what it was used for, disposition, so on and so forth. So very interesting, very neat experience for me. I learned a lot that day. The students actually taught me quite a bit. So how do we plan to work through and make sure that we are meeting these goals? Number one, and I know you guys have heard this a lot, is standard congruence, okay? We worked a lot on standard congruence this summer, working on our standards, making sure our learning targets and our standards were tied together. And along with that, we really focused in on our summative assessments. Our summative assessments, asking good questions, and are they KSA types questions? So students will be successful. Also, are they directly tied to the standards, and are they targeted to our heavy hitter standards? So we've really done a lot of work with that. Next thing is station teaching. The top picture there is actually Miss Riley doing some station teaching in an Algebra 1 class. So we have station teaching going on throughout the building. While it's probably not as prevalent as some of the other schools, it is still used quite regularly in our classes. A big thing you will see is the implementation of cooperative learning. I'm really big on cooperative learning. I like students talking. I like students communicating. I think one of the biggest skills that students are going to need when they leave high school is to be able to collaborate with peers and be able to discuss and solve problems. And if they can't talk to people and communicate with one another, they're not going to be successful after they leave our doors. So that's something I stress across the board in all of our classrooms. Next, continue focus on AP and high-level coursework. As you guys know, we're nationally recognized for some of our AP classwork, and it is, I'm going to show you guys some great data in a minute, but it's one of the biggest things that we do at Anderson County High School. Our kids are ready. Our kids take AP classes. They challenge themselves to take AP classes. A lot of our students take that. We have great teachers that teach the content well, and they teach it at high levels. So that is a big plus for us. The addition of more dual credit opportunities. Yes, absolutely. As many as we can get for students. I think our numbers for next year for BCA, which is the Bluegrass Challenge Academy for BCTC, I believe is up to close to 20 for next year. So we are putting more students in those opportunities than some bigger schools than us already at this particular point in time. So we're always looking for ways that we can increase that. We've added a couple of different pathways, and we're looking for more. So when those come available, we try to jump on that and get those opportunities for our students. And then a multitude of co-op opportunities for students. We're still working hard. Ms. Crouch has some great ideas next year about even expanding possibly that a little bit and talking to some more businesses. We want to get our kids more opportunities. We want to show the product to employers to show them what our kids can do. I've had discussions, and Walmart, they say some of their best employees are our students, and they hire them. They give them some money and they hire them. So that's a good thing. It's a good feeling to know.
Before you move on there, I do want to tell you that we got to looking, and of course, my daughter took a lot of co-op.
Absolutely.
Or not co-op, but
dual credit, yeah.
And we got to looking and saved $31,000.
Need to put you on a poster.
I mean, $31,000 to, I don't care how much money you got, it's still a lot of money. So
absolutely. So that's all fine and dandy. So as the old lady used to say back in the day, us old people that can remember this, if I showed this to a kid nowadays, they wouldn't even know what I'm talking about. Where's the beef? So what does this mean for our ACHS graduates? What are they doing after they leave high school? How successful are they being? So college going and success data, and this is put out by Kentucky Stats. It's put out every couple of years because the data obviously has to be calculated for several years in order to get that. But percentage of graduates who enrolled in at least one AP course at ACHS was 61.2%. So 61.2% of our college-going seniors enrolled in an AP course while in high school. The Kentucky average for that same thing is 38.4%. So you can see over 22% more of our students enroll in an AP course that go on to attend college. The percent of students earning college credit prior to graduation, 64.2% for ACHS and 50.8% for the state. So again, a big difference there. College going and success data for our average ACT composite score by type of college and university attended. For full four-year public university, ACHS 23.4 composite score as opposed to 22.6 for Kentucky. For the two-year public community or technical college, 20.2 as opposed to 18.7 for Kentucky. And for independent colleges, 21.7 as opposed to 21.3. So again, beating it in every mark across the state. This to me is some of the big bread and butter that I think. GPA comparison and number of college credits earned. So, you always look at it. How prepared are your students when they go into college? Are they ready for college? Have they been challenged at the level that they need to be challenged in order to be successful in college? So, percent of first year of college cumulative GPA. So, only 20% of our students that go to college out of high school have less than a 2.0 GPA as opposed to over 30%, the state average. 2.0 to a 2.99. 20.4% of our students are scoring in that GPA category, whereas 22.5 of Kentucky are. And then 3.0 or higher, almost 60% of our students that go to college score a 3.0 or higher their first year of college, as opposed to the state average of a 47.4%. Number of college level credit hours earned in the first year of college. Earning fewer than 15 hours, 23.3% of our students earn fewer than 15 hours in their first year, whereas overall, the rest of the state, 32.2%. 15 to 29.9 hours, which would put you at a full-time student. 52.4% of our students earn between 15 and 29.9 hours, whereas the state is 45.1%. And then 24.3% of our students who go to college earn 30 or more hours in their first year of college, as opposed to 22.7 for the state. So I'm going to end it there. I mean, I think the proof is in the pudding. I think we're, doing a great job. And again, it goes back all the way up the ladder. So it starts, I think this is some great data to show our community what they are getting for their tax dollars. Our students are meeting and exceeding what the state's doing across the board when it comes to getting jobs, doing co-ops, performing in college across the board. Do you guys have any questions for me?
I've got a question about the science.
Yes, ma'am.
Science percentage. I'm a science major and love science. And why is our percentage 17-point-something% with a goal of 40%? Is that an error?
That is not an error, and that is beating the state average. And there was a new test that was put out a couple of years ago. So the KSA test is relatively new. The questions are quite different than what students are used to. So students are struggling with the test. I think teachers are somewhat struggling with the test. There's not a little information about the test, as Mr. Murphy will tell you. We got to do better, though. There's no reason for us to be that low. I will say that. We did outperform the state last year in that area at our 17.47%, but that's not good enough. We've got to get better, and we've got to perform better in that area. So that's one of the reasons why we did go in and look at our standards and take a look at the test and ask ourselves, what are we not doing? Why are we not getting our kids to the level that they need to be at in order to be successful on this science test? And it's something that we've got to get better at and we've got to improve upon. One thing we are looking at, I'm glad you asked this question, is we are looking at more ways to engage and do more experimental activities with our students. I think there's a website, it's called Open SciEd, that has been created by lots of scientists that have actually spent quite a few hours putting in work and developing experiments that can be used in the classroom. And I'm sending some of my staff right now to some of those trainings. I just sent them to, they have a free webinar on a chemistry and biology one that I just sent out to them on email about 30 minutes ago that I got on there. So it's definitely our lowest area, and it's an area we definitely have to improve upon. I think, though, I will say this, across the state, and this is not even just in high schools, but across the state and in all schools in general, science is definitely a lower scoring area across the state than any other, than every other subject. And the bread, not that you want to be this way, because I want to be good in everything. Reading and math are always your golden eggs in just about everything you do for students, but science, to me, we've got to improve in that area. We still got to get better.
Yeah, well, I mean, science is so exciting. I mean, and all areas of our life are touched. I mean, even the culinary class that we have, that's a science, cooking. And I don't know, I was just shocked at that because, like I said, I love science.
Yeah, it's definitely something that we're going to work to improve upon. I expect us to get better and better each and every year. Thank you for your comment. Any other questions? Thank you, guys.
Next up, MLB Ward, CSIP report.
All right, so when we worked to put our CSIP together at MLB Ward, we got a group of teachers together. We got several teacher leaders together with our strategic planning team to help set our goals based on data and trends that we have seen in the past. So our vision at MLB Ward is to always move forward and reach for excellence. Our ultimate goal is to become a blue school. We were green last year, so that is always our goal, to keep getting better and better each year. So our first goal, by June 2024, we are wanting 55% of our 3rd through 5th graders to score proficient or distinguished in reading on KSA. Based on winter map data, we are at 47.1% proficient and distinguished. That's about a 3.1% difference from KSA last year.
We have worked to strategically set goals and look at our schedules and our planning on how we make sure that we meet that goal by the end of the year, and we are very confident that we're going to be able to do that with our teachers and the plans that we have in place. So our second one is our math goal. So 51% of our 3rd through 5th graders will score proficient and distinguished in math. We are currently at 48.4%, and that is already 7.8% higher than we were on KSA last year. All of our grade levels in math have made a gain from spring, made a gain to fall, and then to winter as well. So we have some great things in place for math. We are doing a lot of stations teaching, push-in supports. We have really taken our master schedule and revamped it completely this year, knowing that there's still tweaks that we need to make for next year as well. So our next one was diving into our objectives a little bit more and looking specifically at our 3rd grade students. This is data over time that we see this is the group that we need to focus on the most. So looking at their percentage of proficient and distinguished in reading, we want to increase that from 33%, which is where they were in the fall. We want to increase that to at least 40. We are currently at a 38.5. So we are on our way, and we hope to be beyond that 40% in the spring as well. And then looking at math, our goal was a 42% to a 49. We are already at a 48.9% in 3rd grade. So again, those tweaks that we have made, we have really focused a lot on 3rd grade this year, bringing in outside supports to help us look at our grade level and some different strategies and things that we can do to push our kids forward. Next one, looking at science. Our goal is 41% of our 4th graders will score proficient and distinguished. We are currently at a 24.4. We've had a lot of discussions about science as well, looking at pacing guide currently compared to last year's pacing guide. Our science teachers looked a lot at this. One of the things that we have noticed, things that she had taught at the beginning of the year, this year that was a lot on the test, are things that we haven't covered yet, and that's what they're covering currently. We're getting ready to do some ESS with our students in 4th grade, and all of our 4th grade teachers are implementing some science flashbacks and reviews in their classes as well, and they started that back in February. Social studies, our goal is 55% of our 5th graders will score proficient and distinguished. We are currently at 52% proficient and distinguished there. So we are still working on making sure our students get there, and we're confident that they'll be able to get there by the spring as well. Our science and social studies teachers do a great job of collaborating with the 2 other elementary schools as well on getting ideas and other things that we can implement. Writing, our goal is 60% of our 5th graders will score proficient and distinguished. We are currently at 61.6% proficient and distinguished. So we have students that are able to write and do a great job of expressing themselves in their writing. Looking at our achievement gap, our focus was on our special education subpopulation. So looking at our 3rd through 5th graders, our focus was on novice reduction. So looking at reading, we want to decrease that from 61.6% down to 50%, and we are currently at 55%. So we have spent a lot of time, again, on special education as well, making sure that we're looking at our kids with those push-in supports and stations teaching this year. That is really helping because our special ed teachers are pushing into the classrooms instead of us pulling students out. And then that second objective is relating to math, reducing that novice in math from 46.7% to 36%. We are currently at 40%. We have a retired math teacher that is coming in and helping. That is great at helping to reduce novice and is helping our teachers with some of that as well. So things that we're doing to continue our work, we have gone through, like I said, we've totally revamped our master schedule this year. So we are continuing to make modifications in that schedule to allow for additional supports in reading and math specifically. We have also pushed in supports into our science and social studies this year to make sure our students and our teachers have support in those areas.
We are working with the Education Co-op with CKEC to get feedback, and they are providing us with additional support in reading. Looking at attentional focus on standards in our assessment questions, making sure that those are congruent and aligned and rigorous as well. Also providing our students with immediate feedback on assessments. We have done a lot of goal setting with our assessments, and the impact goal setting can have with our students is phenomenal. And we were able to see some huge gains with our students just by simply goal setting with them. And that's something we're getting ready to do for the spring as well. ESS, we have daytime ESS push-in supports. We also are getting ready to do some after-school ESS in 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. We have weekly data teams. We have weekly planning with our teachers. And counting today, we are 31 days from KSA testing starting. So data teams tomorrow will be focusing on a 30-day plan. What's our plan for the next 30 days? We are getting ready to do writing boot camp with our 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. And with that, we are providing our kids with immediate feedback. So they will come and get immediate feedback and go make those modifications and changes, and then come back for additional feedback as well. Also tightening up our SDI and stations teaching. We actually had CKC come in today, met with some of our teachers and special education staff on how we can tighten that and make that better to make help us to be able to meet our goals. And then just kind of ending with a quote. This year I've been in MOB Ward 18 years. This has probably been the most that I have seen our teachers collaborate together, to be able to work together. Any given Friday, you can come by and see our teachers working together. Our intervention staff are planning with our grade level teachers. Our special education teachers are pushing in. So with that, and I think with this model, we're truly going to see the achievement that we're striving for. So, any questions?
Sounds like science is lacking in the early years too.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's a good place to start.
Absolutely.
People interested, keep kids interested, yes.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Next up, we have donations over $1,000. Consideration to approve the following donations over $1,000. Child Care Council reimbursement of SECC for reimbursement of kindergarten readiness materials not to exceed $3,500. Can you explain that one a little more? I don't know that I understand that one totally.
Council is a group that works together, and there's different folks. I think Mrs. Ratliff is on that council. I know Mrs. Sarah McGahee's on there. There's lots of different folks from around the district and others. Some from BCTC that are also on the council, and they are donating $3,500 to ECC for kindergarten readiness materials. Do you want to explain anything else about what specifically these materials are, Ms. Ratliff?
Receive a kindergarten readiness bag that there'll be materials like games, a book, the district supplies them a t-shirt, but there is a kindergarten readiness book in there where they can practice writing, math, reading skills, and things like that. And this is an early childhood council that wants to donate money toward the kindergarten readiness. They do a lot of work in the early childhood field.
Thank you.
I make a motion to approve. We like money coming our way.
I'll second that motion. With the first and second, can I get a roll call vote, please?
Yes, sir. Jason Collins.
Yes.
Scott Brown.
Yes.
Steve Carmichael.
Yes.
James Sargent. Peggy Peach.
Yes.
Next up is approval of emergency certified teachers and substitute teachers. Recommend approval of to employ emergency certified teachers and emergency substitute teachers for the 2024-2025 school year.
As you know, this is an annual request. As you also know, across the state and Commonwealth, there is a shortage of teaching staff, certified and classified. So this request is to go ahead and seek board approval for to employ emergency certified teachers as appropriate, as well as emergency substitute teachers as well. Any questions?
I make a motion to approve Peggy Peach.
Second, Steve Carmichael.
With the first and second, can I get a roll call vote, please?
Yes, sir. Jason Collins,
Yes.
Scott Brown,
Yes.
Steve Carmichael,
Yes.
James Sargent, Peggy Peach.
Yes.
Purchases over $10,000. Anderson County High School architect or agriculture department would like to purchase a greenhouse tables from Ag of Virginia in the amount of $18,069. 3 quotes were obtained, but would prefer to use this company based on the quality of material, availability, to have folding legs, rounded corners, interlocking capability of multiple tables, and lightweight. LAVAC funds would be used for this purchase. And the 3 bids, looks like one was, the Ag Virginia was $17,994. Greenhouse Megastore was $15,225, and Farm Tech was $17,012.90. So, I guess the request is for the highest amount. So,
Agro, Virginia. It's the request.
yeah. Yeah, we can do them separate. Okay. Yeah, let's do these separate, because these are kind of,
Motion approved, Ag Virginia.
with the first and second, can I get a roll call vote on, please?
Jason Collins.
Yes.
Scott Brown,
Yes.
Steve Carmichael.
Yes.
James Sargent, Peggy Peach.
Yes.
Chief Information Officer Blake Dury is requesting to purchase of 22 36-bay charging Chromebook carts from Viscosity. 3 quotes were obtained, and the amount is budgeted using ESSER funds. Note, Viscosity is not the lowest quote, but are considered, are consulting with Anderson County High School media specialist, Ms. Siraji. She prefers the Viscosity carts because of its cable management setup, since the difference in the quote is only $38 total. Feel that it's a reasonable request.
I make a motion to approve Peggy Peach.
Second, Scott Brown.
With the first and second, can I get a roll call vote, please?
Jason Collins.
Yes.
Scott Brown,
Yes.
Steve Carmichael.
Yes.
James Sargent, Peggy Peach.
Yes.
Creation of social emotional learning specialist position. Consideration to create social emotional learning specialist position. This position will be based on a teacher's salary schedule and will be paid for by grant funds.
Your Early Childhood Center wrote this grant for support for students, 3, 4, and 5-year-olds, for behavioral as well as social emotional support for students, as well as to help teachers with strategies to support social and emotional students. So the request is to create the position. The next item on the agenda would to be approve the job description, which falls in line with the actual need and job duties, such as working with students, supporting teachers, all the things that special education teachers also do. And again, it would be a position that would be created in line with that same salary schedule for a regular teacher. Currently, this grant would run through the end of the year unless we do get an extension for that. Ms. Morgan Cook and Mrs. Ratliff are working on that. Any questions around this request?
This grant fund per year?
Yes, sir.
Is that a floating position?
It would specifically be for ECC.
Okay.
Hasn't there been a lot of discussion in this session about social emotional learning? Or has anybody else been following that?
A certain amount of funds that was required of us when we got the grant. And it sort of aligns with our district. You know, when children first come into school, it teaches them how to work out their problems using their words, getting along, being good friends. Because a lot of our children, they're coming in with less words, learning how to solve conflict, you know, in a peace, you know, being peaceful friends, kind friends, and that's what that's speaking to teach to me. Or if they've had trauma, how can they just react to things in a positive manner and deal with those things in a positive manner.
Thank you.
Motion approved, Scott Brown.
Second, Peggy Peach.
With the first and second, can I get a roll call vote, please?
Yes, sir. Jason Collins.
Yes.
Scott Brown.
Yes.
Steve Carmichael.
Yes.
James Sargent. Peggy Peach.
Yes.
Social and emotional learning specialist jobs description approval. Consideration to approve the job description for the social emotional learning specialist position.
Are there any questions around the job description? It specifically talks about evidence-based strategies such as restorative practices and social emotional learning circles, conducts needs assessment, inventory, all the things, small group instruction, working with the special education teachers, really on those things that Ms. Ratliff just stated. Any questions around the job description?
I just think we got to be real careful about who we hire for these positions and make sure that they have the right values. I make a motion to approve. Peggy Peach.
Second, Steve Carmichael.
With first and second, can I get a roll call vote, please?
Yes, sir. Jason Collins.
Yes.
Scott Brown.
Yes.
Steve Carmichael.
Yes.
James Sargent. Peggy Peach.
There was the add-ons.
Yes, sir. So we first have early graduation request. Are there any questions around that?
I make a motion to approve that young person has a plan. Peggy Peach.
I'll second that motion. Jason Collins. With the first and second, can I go a roll call vote, please?
Sir, Jason Collins.
Yes.
Scott Brown.
Yes.
Steve Carmichael.
Yes.
James Sargent. Peggy Peach.
Yes.
And the next item.
Last item would be the Girls State Tournament trip, spending overnight in Lexington, Kentucky for the state tournament, March 13th through the 16th.
Motion approved, Scott Brown.
Second, Steve Carmichael.
With the first and second, can I get a roll call vote, please?
Yes, sir. Jason Collins.
Yes.
Scott Brown.
Yes.
Steve Carmichael.
Yes.
James Sargent. Peggy Peach.
Yes.
Next up is pursuant to KRS 61.8101K for the meeting, which states the law requires to be conducted in privacy, and KRS 156.5 557-6C for preliminary discussion related to the evaluation of the superintendent. Can I get a motion to go into executive session?
I make a motion, Peggy Peach.
Second, Steve Carmichael.
With the first and second, can I get a roll call vote, please?
Yes, sir. Jason Collins?
Yes.
Scott Brown?
Yes.
Steve Carmichael?
Yes.
James Sargent? Peggy Peach?
Yes.
We're entering an executive session.